Estamos en el Salón de Ginebra y siempre digo que esta profesión nos permite darnos algunos gustos y qué mayor placer que entrevistar a un ídolo mío de la infancia, porque la guerra era Senna Prost y yo era hincha de Prost, y acá estamos con Alain Prost. Alain es el nuevo embajador de Renault. So Alain, it's a pleasure for me to meet you, and I would like you to tell me what does it mean to be a Renault ambassador in the world?
In fact, it's quite important for me. I hope it's very important also for Renault in the future. I've been racing for them, Formula Renault, Formula 3, Formula Renault Europe and Formula 1. I won the Andros Trophy with Dacia in the last year. I have always done my career with them or beside them, you know. I know the company very well. If you look at what they do, for example, in Formula 1, I'm sure you will have a question about Formula 1.
Many.
And in 2 years' time, we have a small engine, you know, the 6-cylinder turbo, but 1.6, like an hybrid, you know, in Formula 1. That means you have a part of electricity. And it's very interesting. Why it's interesting? Because it's a new challenge for Formula 1, but it's going to be very, very similar in terms of philosophy and technology about what we are going to have in almost all the cars in the futures, you know. So you have more and more link between competition, racing, and the product. So my role is going to be to find the right way between the two.
And you mentioned Formula 1, of course, and what do you think of Formula 1 nowadays?
Many years that I didn't have fun. Honestly, in the last 2 or 3 years, we have seen a good competition, especially if you look about the human side. They're quite good drivers, not very funny for me in terms of technology and what you have no surprise. You have everybody finishes the races. You have no engine stop as we had in the past, you know. So it's a bit different, but you cannot say it's bad. It's not bad at all. It's part of it follows the society. It follows what we have on normal road cars. Everybody wants to have reliability, less fuel consumption, and they want low prices. So in Formula 1, you cannot do crazy things that we were able to do in the past, you know. Remember when the turbo engine came into Formula 1, everybody said it's no way, it's not going to work. And at the time, we had an engine at 450 horsepower, running at 7,500 revs. And about 6 years later, we had the most powerful engine in Formula 1 built by Renault at 1,450 horsepower for a much, much smaller engine. So we have a new area coming, especially in 2 years' time. By the time, we need to concentrate on a big fight between the drivers, and we have very good young drivers, a good competition. So we see maybe it's a little bit less interesting for the people that follow our time in Formula 1. But I'm never negative. I'm always positive. I think it's a good things to come.
Lo escuchamos a Alain Prost, 4 veces campeón del mundo. Habla en exclusividad para Todo Motor.
You think about the fact that for overpassing another car, you have to press a button, you have to use a curse, and we don't see the pilots driving and the ability, the skills.
It is true that we are talking more about that, more about strategy. Everything is done on this purpose. That means also it's very difficult to understand when you're watching TV. Said, oh, when he's using the button or not. Or I agree with that. I agree. But was it possible to do something very different? I don't know. At least you have a part of technology, because it's quite interesting what we get. You know, we have with the kinetic energy, you know, we have more power coming to the engine. So again, we start to see that on the normal road cars, you know. So that's what the positive point I want to keep. But I agree with you, maybe not perfect talking about Formula 1. I think in the future it's going to be different.
You were not a spectacular driver, but a very efficient driver. Who do you think is the Alain Prost nowadays, or someone similar?
They're all like this. All good drivers are like this. If you look at what they do on the track, you have no very spectacular drivers. Maybe you have drivers taking more risk by overtaking. You know, if you look at Lewis Hamilton, or if you look about sometimes Nico Rosberg, on even Sebastian Vettel sometimes. But driving the car, they all go to the efficiency. If you look at Jenson Button's style, I mean, even Sebastian Vettel or people like this are really, really cool and quiet, you know. I think the cars we had in the past, you could drive as well being like my style, or maybe being more spectacular, like Gilles Villeneuve, Nigel Mansell, or you had Keke Rosberg, and because it depends of the tires, no aerodynamic, you know, and then you could do something different. Today, if you want to be spectacular, there's no way. You're going to be at the back of the field.
And you mentioned your era. Which is the car you remember the most? And if you have to mention a rival, which is the one you remember the most?
Yeah, you know my answer. You know my answer about the rival. I mean, obviously Ayrton was the most talented and the more difficult driver to beat. About the car, I had 2 or 3 cars that, I mean, the McLaren from 84, from 88, the 2 McLaren at this time, and the Ferrari about 1990 was the most beautiful car I've never driven.
Impresiona realmente, ¿no? 4 veces campeón del mundo, un tipo que realmente piensa arriba del auto, que como usted lo ve, sigue pensando todavía y usó justamente toda esa experiencia para ganar tantas carreras, más de 50 carreras, y ganar estos 4 títulos mundiales. Todavía tenemos un bloquecito más con Alain Prost, porque yo quiero que usted lo escuche opinar de lo que fue Ayrton Senna, de lo que es el automovilismo actual, y muchas cosas coincidimos con Alain, ¿eh? La Fórmula 1 no es divertida. Para muchos es demasiado y maravillosamente tecnológica. Yo digo que cuando prendo el televisor, hay veces me puedo levantar a tomar un café con toda tranquilidad, porque no pasa nada, ¿eh? Por eso a veces discutimos de automovilismo, lo hacemos de buena fe y por supuesto pensando en que usted viva un automovilismo como el que queremos ver nosotros, vibrante, donde se pasen y donde se ganen frenando. Yo quiero que usted me acompañe, yo quiero que usted disfrute y quiero que vea y que escuche a este 4 veces campeón del mundo, Alain Prost. Para nosotros es un orgullo enorme poder tener este reportaje exclusivo con el 4 veces campeón del mundo, Alain Prost.
You also mentioned the turbo era. How was driving those kind of cars?
Driving with the turbo, especially at the time, was really exceptional. If you look at the technology you have on cars like today, or you have in Formula 1, obviously, I was very interested to see last week I've been to watch the new engine coming in 2014. It is really a big challenge, a very big technical challenge. But what we had in the past with the turbo engine when we started was really amazing, you know. We were carrying something like 250 liters of fuel, you know, and was very heavy. You know, we were accelerating and waiting sometimes 3 seconds before the power is coming. And we had average between 800 and 1200 horsepower. It was very difficult. In the straight, the wheel was spinning even in 5th or 6th gear sometimes, you know. So it's a complete different philosophy, a complete different way of driving today. I've driven my car from 1983, 1 month ago, 2 months ago in Paul Ricard, and I realized, I said, how could be possible to drive this kind of car? It was really unbelievable. Yeah.
And talking about your driving style, which was, according to you, the best of Alain Prost, and which were your weak points?
I had no weak point. You know why I say that? Yeah. Because I did not have a strong point. That means I knew what I was doing. I knew everything. I knew how to set up the car. I knew the philosophy of the race. I knew what I needed to do to do the best, or to try to do the best result. And I did not want to take too much risk. Having said that, it's enough. I wanted to do the best career without taking too much risk. And I won 51 races, 4 championships, and that's it. That was but I cannot say I had a very big, strong point. because if I had a very strong point, I would have a very big weak point. So I did not like that.
And just the last question. Who is a rival or who is a pilot you learn more about?
You know, the funny thing is I learned a lot about John Watson. He was my first teammate in Formula One. Even if he was a little bit less competitive, even the first year, I learned a lot from himself. And I learned a lot from Nicky in '84, the first year we were together in '84. That's it. You always learn from your teammates, but small things, you know, but nothing very special. But these two guys, I learned quite a lot with them.
Okay, Alain, thank you very much. I have to confess, you were my idol. When I was a kid, I couldn't pronounce your name.
You're still a kid.
Yeah, but thank you very much and congratulations for this new job.
No, thank you very much. It's really a pleasure.